to have you with us on the weekend edition of the Urban Debate. I'm Tanvi Shukla. Quick check of the top stories here on Mirror Now. Massive fire breaks out at a 5-star hotel in Srinagar. Top 3 floors gutted. Fire then engulfed more parts of the hotel. 20 fire tenders had to be rushed and it took over 5 hours to bring the fire under control. 9 months after the matter first came to light, the Catholic Church takes note of the Kerala nun rape case. India's representative to the Vatican likely to head an inquiry committee after the matter was discussed during a meeting of the cardinals in Rome. In a complete sham rape accused, Franco Mulakal temporarily recuses himself from his post and hands over the charge to his junior, only perhaps for a few days, because he's been summoned by the Kerala police. 3 days and still no arrests in the gang rape of the CBSE topper of Haryana. Special investigation team reached the crime spot today to collect evidence. Police has also released the pictures of the accused.
देश भर में प्रधानमंत्री जी के आह्वान से स्वच्छता अभियान चलाया जा रहा है और इसके बाद के बाकी जो प्रश्न है मुझे हरियाणा में उत्तर देना जाके दे दूं.
Let's just talk about the Swachhta Abhiyan, nothing else, not even the brutal gang rape that's taken place in the state of Haryana. That is what the Chief Minister told us. And after that went on to dodge our questions about the gang rape of the CBSE topper not once but twice today. 24-year-old man was hacked to death with a machete in Telangana in presence of his pregnant wife. Police suspects the murder is linked to their intercaste marriage. Here is a mega Mirror Now impact. The Jammu and Kashmir High Court has issued notices to the state government and the Power Grid Corporation against cutting of trees in Gangrape forest. Barkatullah University in Bhopal plans to teach young boys and girls the way to become an ideal groom and bride. University Vice Chancellor defends the move, says it is a step towards women empowerment. It's been 3 days since a young girl was gang raped in Haryana. And the state, viewers, that harps on Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao can't find her rapists. It's not because these suspects are hardened criminals. It's not because powerful people swooped in to shield the accused like you very often see in our country. No. It is simply because the Haryana police didn't care enough. And had it not been for the media that raised the issue and asked questions, the police perhaps would never have reached the crime spot as they did now to investigate. But of course, now it's a little too late and they will have to work harder to get those rapists. Because we are given to understand, despite the fact that the rape survivor named the rapists, despite the fact that she identified them and their names were in the FIR, no action was taken for the first 3 days. Now they've gone missing, they're on the run. And I'm going to bring your attention back to those 3 men and their pictures that have been released by the Haryana police today. Accused number 1, Manish. He is supposed to be the main accused in this case. Accused number 2, Pankaj. He is an army man and the army is telling us that if some wrongdoing has been done, they will ensure that action is taken. And accused number 3 is Nishu. Look at these pictures very closely. The Haryana police will give a reward to anybody who helps them find these men. But tonight, we are going to ask some very basic questions. Why has no one been punished for the delay in the police action? The SIT may have been formed now, the entire state may have woken up now and is taking swift action. but the swiftness has only come 3 days later. Why was no action taken for the first 3 days? Why is the Chief Minister evading Mira Now's questions? Twice today we confronted him. We got no explanation to what is happening in his own state. He says, I am at this event, let's talk about Swachh Bharat. Well, Mr. Khattar, इस देश से दरिंदगी, ये गंदगी, ऐसे गंदे क्रिमिनल्स की सफाई कब होगी? स्वच्छ भारत सिर्फ झाड़ू लगा के पत्तों हटाने से नहीं होता. स्वच्छ भारत तब बनेगा जब ये ऐसे क्रिमिनल्स को आप जेल भेजेंगे. So can the Chief Minister tell us tonight on which platform will he answer us? First up, let's listen to what the parents of the rape survivor had to say. We obviously cannot even imagine the pain that they are going through, but they are fighting back and they are demanding justice.
और मेरे बच्चे के साथ बहुत बुरा हाल किया है. मोदी जी कह रहे बेटी बचाओ बेटी पढ़ाओ. कहाँ से पढ़ाए, कहाँ जाए, कहीं भी नहीं जा रही. मेरी बेटी को न्याय दिलाओ जी, न्याय दिलाओ.
पुलिस की तरफ से कोई सहयोग नहीं हो रही, कोई कार्रवाई नहीं हो रही और बार बार धमकी मिल रही है. अगर आप कोई कार्रवाई करोगे तो आपको खत्म कर दिया जाएगा.
That's what they said yesterday. Today they are being made to run around as the investigation finally picks up pace. Imagine their plight from one police station to the other because the police couldn't decide what's the jurisdiction for this brutal crime that took place. A girl was kidnapped, sedated, taken to a field, gang raped and dumped. And when we confronted the Chief Minister, look what happened.
कितने घंटे हो चुके हैं अभी तक रेपिस्ट पकड़े नहीं गए हैं.
अरे क्या बात कर रहे हो आप? जी क्या विषय आपका? इसके बाकी जो प्रश्न है मुझे हरियाणा में उत्तर देना, जाके दे दूंगा.
Sir, you don't think that this is really very important for the nation to know why even after 48 hours no action has been initiated? How come as a Chief Minister, sir, you can be so insensitive, not respond to this question, sir?
Let's say good evening to our guest, B.L. Vora, former DGP of Uttar Pradesh and IPS officer joining us this evening. Karuna Nandi, lawyer with the Supreme Court. Jayanti Datta, social activist. Tara Krishnaswamy, also an activist, joining us from Bengaluru. First up, let's go across to Vaibhav Agarwal. Vaibhav, good evening and thank you for being with us. We are hoping you could give us some answers because we couldn't figure the right platform to ask those questions to the Chief Minister. Vaibhav, why hasn't any action been taken against those cops who didn't do anything for 3 days?
See, the idea is that I've said this just yesterday, we were debating this, and I'm of this opinion at this juncture that it is very important for us to focus on the right way forward. The right way forward first for us is, from my perspective, I can't speak for anyone else. From our perspective, it is clearly to bring justice to the victim. Work once done, mistake once done, does not go unnoticed and cannot be reversed. So if the delay has happened or if any other mistake has happened, if there is anything else that is wrong that has happened in last 3 days or 72 hours, it has already happened and a note has been taken, so nobody can reverse that. So that means that an action is present and it's been recorded in time, and a due action will be taken post our main objective is fulfilled. And I think I would get an agreement with you on this, that our main objective is to get justice for the victim very quickly.
Isn't that always the
objective? And yes, I agree to what you're saying, totally.
Isn't that always the objective?
And that should be the objective.
If that is the objective every time,
yes,
then why was the
objective.
Victim and their family made to run around from one police station to the other? And why isn't it absolutely essential to reinstate our faith in this police department by taking action against those who didn't bother to even file an FIR?
No, I think don't lose faith in the system, because the system has enough energies built into them now. There are a lot of infusion of positive energies in the system that has gone in, and the system has become tight in terms of, but at the end of the day, the system is also made of humans, and if humans are subjected to years of particular behavioral issues within the system, then that needs to be corrected, but that can only get corrected with time. You understand that we're dealing with a change of mindset here about things. You and I are educated enough, you and I are informed enough, and probably with higher IQs than the others who would understand the importance like this, but it's not necessary that everyone thinks the same way that we do. And so for us to live with that, to run the system smoothly, all we can do is we can set the examples right, we can get the people to justice.
Yes, exactly, Vaibhav. If you talk about setting the example, you set the example by ensuring that those cops are suspended and they are prosecuted. If you don't set that example, this story can happen every day. And every day, because rapes happen in our country and gang rapes happen in our country, if the police doesn't get the message today, then every day there may be more survivors and victims and their families who may be turned away. Now, unless we actually believe in sustaining the system where you have to go around begging for justice in this country, I really don't understand why action is not being taken. Let me ask Mr. B.L. Vora. So, what does this make sense? Let's wait for this investigation to get over and find those rapists, and then we will deal with those 5 officials or 10 officials who didn't do anything for the first 2 days.
No, I think both the things can go on simultaneously. Now, what has happened is, by initially not registering the case, the police has lost crucial time also, apart from the insensitivity and the wrong that they committed. Now, that is why there is now a big gap is there. Now it's increasing almost by the day between the accused and the police. Having said that, yes, there was a failure and action should be taken, and we need not really wait for the end of the day if the inquiry says that they were at fault. But I think police, I know, is working very sincerely. They have released the photographs, as you said. They have announced the rewards today, about 1 lakh of rupees. Anybody giving information about them, that is what the SP was on the camera today during the day that I was seeing. So I think the police is making all the efforts, and I have no doubt that police will be able to catch them sooner than later. And meanwhile, of course, what was just said was, I agree, it's a systematic failure. The mindset has been there. We are still having the colonial police that we were having. We are still governed by the 1860 Police Act. No politician wants to let the police go out of their hands. Police reforms have not been done in spite of the orders of the Supreme Court in 2006. Not a single state has done anything. And then moreover, politicians have so much of control now on policemen that they control their recruitments, postings, transfers. There's so much of corruption, so they don't even bother for the SP and the senior officers. So there's a whole lot of things to be done. But meanwhile, of course, immediate importance is, and the nation is watching and wanting to know, when will the culprits be arrested? And another issue, having been arrested thereafter, our judicial processes take so long. Look at Nirbhaya's case. Even today, the closure is not there. So judiciary, I think processes will have to be shortened, fast-track courts, and now death penalty has also been announced by the government recently. You know, the law was amended. But I'm afraid even that is not making an impact on people. The mindset is so bad, so awful,
Mr.
that one feels ashamed.
How will that make any impact on people?
A lot of work requires to be done.
Yes, but how will that make any impact on people when there is no fear of the law? Death penalty will only happen once you actually arrest somebody, take them to trial and prove your case. Now, unfortunately, in many parts of our country, every state,
some cases,
their process is itself a big challenge. Let me actually take that point across to Karuna Nandi, because she and I have often had disagreements when it comes to death penalty. But this is largely the point you make, Karuna. That what's the point of that death penalty when you're not even going to catch the criminals? Today you're going asking people to come and help you find these people, but you let them get away for the first 3 days because you didn't think it was important enough.
You know, today we see the police taking action, but what really troubles me is the large number of cases where the failures of the police and the state are just everyday and normal, and nobody gets justice, and then there is no deterrent, speaking to the point that you are making. And so what did we see in the first couple of days? We see somebody that was known to the victim, that possibly as a backlash against her huge achievements, was attacking her, right? Let me correct myself, was accused or is accused of attacking her in this manner, right? Now, we see that. Now, what is the role of the state of Haryana here? The role of the state of Haryana is to make sure that real justice can happen. The only way real justice can happen is if there is no rape at all. How do you make sure there is no rape at all? One, to see that there is swift and certain justice, which is not happening. Their conviction rate is about 24 is approximately 24%. Fast track, some fast track courts have been proposed. They are not. It's not being implemented. But and secondly, and almost more significantly, looking at taking down those violent patriarchal impulses. Because otherwise what we see in Haryana quite prominently, but also what we see in other parts of the country, is women getting it together against the structures, forging ahead. And then once they forge ahead, which is why her mother said, Beti bachao, beti to padha li, ab bachayega kaun? Forging ahead despite the structural problems, and then there is this backlash from the, some of the men who have not developed, some of the men who are not sort of supportive in this way, some of the men who are not feminist, and who are resenting this, right? And so the second point that I'm going to make is to say that, look, this is the most urgent thing to have, to sort of look at changing people's behavior, to taking down this patriarchy, and it can be done. And this is something that, of course, the state of Haryana is not looking at. Because if you look at what Khattarji, Manohar Lal Khattarji was saying in the, so while he was, just before I think he became chief minister, he said, Azadi, I'm paraphrasing, he said, Azadi kis tarah ki chahiye ki nange ghumne ki azadi le lo, I mean, he said that, he was saying things like, agar ladki, I mean, if a girl dresses decently, then she will not be looked at in a sexual manner. That when he was asked about rapes increasing in this country. And so when we talk about mindsets, I mean, surely, if what is coming from the top is encouraging a certain kind of misogynist culture that leads to sexual assault.
Yes, and it's the mindset.
Where are we?
It's the mindset, absolutely, the patriarchal mindset.
Yes, we must pursue justice, but we also must look at all the other women.
Yes, and it is the mindset. It's the patriarchal, it's the regressive mindset in a place like Haryana, where majority of women still dress up in that traditional conservative way, which are completely covered, their heads and faces are covered half the time, घूंघटा लगा के घूमती हैं, उससे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. क्राइम अब तब भी वहाँ पे उतना ही होता है, तब भी हरियाणा टॉप 5 में ही आता है और साल दर साल वो बढ़ते चला जा रहा है. So I don't know what Mr. Khattar means if he or anybody from his team actually says things like that. But let me bring in Tara Krishnaswamy, because I saw her react when Vaibhav Agarwal was speaking initially and she wasn't really agreeing with what he was telling us. Tara, what do you think? Should there be any excuse for the fact that no action has been taken against those cops who did not act in the first 3 days?
Yeah, so I'd like to. Thank you, Tanvi. I want to make 3 points. The reason I was reacting that way when Mr. Vaibhav spoke was because of his comment about IQ and something about maybe, we have greater IQ and they have less IQ. I have to point out to him that the people that perpetrated that crime, this was a planned assault. They have followed her, they know her pattern. What is more, they know it's a crime. They know they are in grave danger if she reports it, and therefore they went and threatened her, her family. So they are very well aware of what they are doing, and one of them is an army man, the alleged rapist, one of the alleged rapists. This has absolutely nothing to do with IQ. They are well aware of how heinous the crime they have committed is and how, strict the punishment is going to be if they got caught. first of all. Second of all, as far as the police is concerned, the horses have bolted and now they are trying to secure the stable door. This is ridiculous. Every day of delay means that they can get on a bus or train and be very, very far away, and it's very difficult to catch people. There was absolutely no excuse not to file the FIR immediately and not to act immediately. I have absolutely no reason. I'm not able to fathom why a spokesperson would not uncategorically say this should have been done faster. As a matter of fact, as part of the Justice Verma recommendations and as part of the Nirbhaya trials, the Supreme Court not only ordered fast-track courts, they also recommended fast-track investigations by police of rapes, and especially gang rapes. So not only this is not a fast-track investigation and the state has completely ignored this, this is actually slower than what it should be even if it proceeded in the normal course, right? So the last thing I want to say is that, you know, all this business about mindset, the police know what their job is. They are supposed to protect citizens' rights. Someone comes to complain, write the damn FIR and then act on it. What mindset does it take to do your job? You're paid to do your job. I don't understand. The Home Minister is the Chief Minister. What mindset is it when the mic is in your mouth to not uncategorically say that this is unacceptable and that he will speed up the investigation?
No, the zero FIR also happened at a later stage after a lot of back and forth about which police station should they go to.
At a later stage after they were sent from
and then they gave up and said, let's just file a zero FIR.
Correct.
And then we'll look into it at a later point in time. And until the story came out in the media, no FIR had been registered.
Tanvi,
that's the reality. Vaibhav, if you can hold on to all of your responses, make a mental note and I will come back to you, but Jayanti Datta has also been patiently waiting, so let's get in a word from her and then I will come back to you. Jayanti, what's your view?
Yeah, I fail to understand. बेटी पढ़ा लेते हैं हम, बचाने के लिए आपने क्या किया? Rapes are on the increase. Now 3 people have gang raped and you are still talking about mindset. Police is clueless. And you know, the overall in charge, the guardian of the state, that is the Chief Minister. He is not boiling with fury that a child of his state has been gang raped. She was not a duffer. And is this the way you will retaliate your vengeance? By using the women for raping and you have no punishment. Even if we have, you know, been successful in inducting capital punishment under POCSO. But tell me how many rapists have been really booked and punished? Show me one case. Still the children are vulnerable. Still the girls are vulnerable. Whether it is 8 months old baby or it is 80 years old woman. Now this lady, this girl, poor child who's been gang raped, you are still at a loss and you are not bothered. You don't want to comment about it. You don't want to take on the onus saying that it is my responsibility to safeguard my children in my state. Why the Chief Minister is not coming out with a strict kind of a ruling that if this happens, immediately the punishment will be rendered. You cannot say, I'm not worried about this, talk about something else.
Right.
This should be the most important and the most urgent thing on the top of the list for a CM, because this is a slogan given by the Prime Minister. बेटी बचाओ, बेटी पढ़ाओ. बेटी हमने पढ़ा लिया. आपने क्या किया बचाने के लिए? आज हमारी बेटियां हर जगह.
जयंती, this family ने बेटी को इतना प्लेटफॉर्म दिया, इतना सम्मान दिया, उसको इतने उसको टॉपर बनाया, उसको कोचिंग चाहिए थी, उसको स्कूल जाना था, जहां जाना था, जो ट्रेनिंग चाहिए थी, जो मदद चाहिए थी, इस फैमिली ने सब करी. और आप जो कहते हैं वैभव अग्रवाल की बेटी पढ़ाओ बेटी बचाओ,
उसकी काफी दिक्कत.
आपने क्या किया उस बेटी की सुरक्षा के लिए?
आपने क्या किया बेटी बचाओ?
Why is the Chief Minister not boiling with fury tonight?
क्या किया आपने? Why is your machinery at
my
loss?
problem is
Why police is at loss? Why they are not able to find?
Yes, Jayanti, let's listen into what Vaibhav has to say in response to your question.
3 of them are accused.
Are you done? Can I speak?
Yes,
I think
please.
it's hard time. It's high time you have to come out with the punishment.
Sorry, boss. If the panel here wants to play the game of bashing the government, I'm sorry, but I'm not needed here.
I'm sorry.
Because
Should we
the
bash the
panel seems to
opposition
be
for
more
this?
educated.
No, sorry, not bashing
Should we
the
bash
government.
the opposition
We are
for it?
asking
You know,
for,
this
We
is-
can't
this
bash
is-
the
solution.
accused, the
We are
real
not
rapists,
backing the
because
government.
you are not able to catch them. What do you expect us to do?
Certainly not. It's
We are
You know,
questioning
I
the
think
chief
you-
minister
you-
and
do
the
you want me to-
government,
do you want me to?
because
do
it
you-
is the
do
right
you
of
want me
every
to tell
single
you
citizen
that
of
you're
this
running a
country to
debate right
question
now?
the government.
Tanvi, do you want me to completely disagree? Do you want me to completely disagree with you and come
No,
back to
I
you
want
and tell
you to explain
that
to
it
us
appears
tonight-
that you're running a debate? You're running a debate with an agenda.
I want you to explain
Do
to
you
us
want to-
tonight.
do you
I
want
don't
me to say
care
that?
for your random statements,
Because
Dr.
you're being
Vaibhav Agarwal.
unreasonable.
Explain to us tonight why
These
Chief
are not
Minister
random statements
Khattar
because two of your
doesn't think
panelists
this
don't
issue
even have the
is
complete
important
information.
enough to react on it, to take our
I'm not going to
questions
sit
on
here
it.
and just take it.
Why not? Why is
For the sake of
Swachhta
the
Abhiyan
audience,
event
at least have
more
that-
important
Of course
than a
not.
gang rape?
I'm not going to hear.
Why is Swachhta Abhiyan event more important than a gang rape?
Panelists misquoted the entire event.
Misquoted the event.
Panelists misquoted your entire event series of absolutely misquoted the events. The two of your panelists are not even informed who said what. Two of your panelists do not even have complete knowledge about it. Two of your panelists are just busy bashing the government, talking about and politicizing the entire issue, talking about beti bachao, beti padhao, and beti bachane ke liye humne kya kiya. Look,
So
I
you
tell what,
admit
if you're
it's just
so
a political
passionate about
slogan.
beti
It has
bachao,
nothing to
beti
do
padhao,
with governance.
1 minute. 1 minute.
You admit
You
Beti
are running a
Bachao, Beti
political
Padhao
debate
is
and
just
you
a
have
political
nothing-
slogan.
you
It has
have no
nothing to do
business
with
right now,
governance.
Tanvi.
You
You are running
the same
a political
question.
debate
बेटी
here
बचाने के
to
लिए क्या
bash the
किया?
government. You do not want to take up the issue in its true sense.
There are citizen
Certainly not.
representatives
No.
here, Vaibhav. You are the
We are
only
running a
political
debate for life and
representative
death.
here.
If this is the case,
Certainly
if
not.
this is the case,
Certainly
if
not.
this is the case, then
Then
Haryana is on the 5th rank of the states where rapes happen. What about the rest 4?
Fourth.
4 rapes happen every minute.
Fourth on the gang rape list.
What about the rest 3? If you're so concerned about the issue, why don't we talk about and corner the other governments?
Which are the other 3
now,
states,
top 1, 2
Vaibhav?
and 3 and 4 are not BJP governments.
They're not. Which
I
are
don't
the
need
other
to
3
know that.
states?
You're running the topic. You need to know that.
You need
better
to know that. You're the one who's
Or
making
your
the charge
activists
of us
better know
being
that.
biased.
I know it very well.
Which are the other 3
Of course,
states,
because your
Vaibhav?
activists are ill-informed.
Madhya Pradesh has the highest
I
raw
don't
number
need to
of rape
state that.
reports among instant
Not
states.
at all. I don't
Is
agree.
that the road you
I
want to
don't
go
agree
down,
with
Mr.
you.
So bring it
Agarwal?
up.
Quite
Bring
apart
it
from
up.
the fact that
I've
we are
done this
talking
before.
about this
Bring it
We're
up.
getting,
particular
we're
instance,
getting
and
derailed
there
here.
is no reason
Let
that
me
we should
answer
not talk
Jayanti's
about the
question.
state of
Karuna, I'll
Haryana.
come to you in just a
The
bit.
problem here
Let
is
me
that
answer
the zero-
Jayanti
that
Datta's
zero
question
FIR
and let
was
me tell
filed
this to
immediately.
viewers. And
Okay,
let me tell
that's
this to
point number
viewers.
1.
The
Point number
reason
2.
that Manohar Lal
This is important
Khattar
to understand that it is a
isn't boiling
1.5
with fury
billion people.
tonight, the reason that Manohar Lal Khattar isn't boiling with fury tonight is because he's far too used to these kind of crimes. His state is not just 4th. The fact of the matter is it is infamous for the most brutal kind of rapes and gang rapes. And I'm going to play out a series of reactions
Yeah, but as
that
if
we've
Manohar
got
Lal
from
Khattar
Mr. Khattar.
gets there and does it himself, is it?
Mr.
Is that what you're
Khattar,
trying to say?
every
Be
time
very
he's questioned
careful in what
about
you
it,
say.
has a templated
It's a mindset.
response,
It's the people of
viewers.
Haryana who do it. It's not Mr.
The
Khattar does it.
templated response is, oh, of course,
What kind
it's
of
the
a
people
response is
who
that?
are at fault, not the government that has been elected to protect
Absolutely.
the people. Of course, it is the criminal only who's at fault,
government cannot
not
get
the
into the houses
government
of the
who is
people
elected
and
to
tell
bring
them not
about
to rape.
safety. तो आप वादे क्यों करते हैं safety के? मत करिए ना, आपसे तो कुछ होता नहीं. If you can't do anything, why do you make promises about safety for women?
That's exactly why I said.
What
it
have you
was
done?
3 rapes-
What have
it
you
was
done
3
in the
rapes a
4
minute
years?
till-
What have you
till
done in the
before
4 years
the
of
BJP
Khattar government
came
in power?
It is-
What have
it
you
is
done in
1
the
rape
4
a minute
years of
right
Khattar
now.
government in power? Tell
Not
me.
at all.
You want to talk about
Let's
facts,
stick to
Vaibhav
this-
Agarwal?
let's-
I will
let's
give you
stick
the
to this
facts.
particular topic.
What
And,
have-
and
what-
the
why?
moment
No.
you bring in, the moment you bring in politics in between, the moment you bring in Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, the moment you bring in Manohar Lal Khattar, and you don't want to hold the government accountable, but you want a chief minister to get accountable, it clearly shows that you're not bothered about the issue. You're just bothered about handling it politically. You want to
Women's
target someone
rights,
politically because
citizens'
perhaps for you there is no
freedoms.
action, but for me
Certainly
there is
not.
enough action on the
There is
ground.
no politics in it.
3 days.
There is no
I think
politics
this is
in
the
it.
fastest
You
action in
want
the
the
history of
life and
independent
death to be
India.
solved by the
That they are a governance and a political issue.
Taraji
machinery
first
is
got
under
the
his
facts right
control.
about the case. then come back and talk to me about it.
You know, why are citizens' rights not a political issue to you? Why are they not a governance issue?
I mean,
to
I
you?
don't understand
Why
why
are you
women's
not- why
security
is it not
is
a
not
political
political
issue?
issue
As a
number
citizen
one in
issue.
this country.
As a government
I am
spokesperson,
outraged at
being
the mannerism.
I don't care about your outrage, Vaibhav Agarwal. Please choose the right platform for your outrage. This is not the platform for your right outrage, because that's what we have
Why is
learned
the
from
government
Chief
not doing
Minister
what it's
Khattar.
supposed to do?
Now, I am going to play out a series of reactions that we've got from Mr. Khattar every time we've asked him about the crime in his state. Today, of course, his excuse was, ये तो स्वच्छता अभियान का इवेंट है, इस पे आप ऐसे गैंगरेप के सवाल कैसे पूछ सकते हैं? But बाकी हर बार उनसे पूछा जाए, he has a templated response. Law will take its own course.
जो भी इस प्रकार के घिनौने कार्य करने वाले जितने भी कल्प्रेट हैं उनको छोड़ा नहीं जाएगा और बहुत जल्दी इसके अंदर हम जो कोर्ट्स हैं, फास्ट कोर्ट जो होती हैं, उन कोर्ट्स के माध्यम से, जैसे पीछे एक घटना हुई थी जिसके अंदर कुछ लोगों को 7-6 साल की सजा भी हुई थी, ऐसे ही इन कोर्ट्स को यानी स्पीडी एक प्रकार की कार्रवाई करा करके और इनको कल्प्रेट्स को, दोषियों को दंडित किया जाएगा, इनको छोड़ा नहीं जाएगा। बहुत जल्दी उसको पकड़ लिया जाएगा। इसलिए किसी भी घटना के होने के बाद पुलिस एक्शन में आकर के कितना जल्दी उसको सॉल्व करती है, यही एक प्रकार की पुलिस की कार्य प्रणाली का एक सफल।
ये जो पिछले 2-3 दिनों में घटनाएं हुई हैं, तो बहुत ही दुखद घटनाएं हैं, वास्तव में निंदनीय हैं। मैं स्वयं इन घटनाओं से बड़ा आहत हूं और मैं समझता हूं कि इन घटनाओं के ऊपर हम पूरा सख्ती से जो इनका कार्रवाई करनी है वो करेंगे। हमने पुलिस को एक प्रकार से निर्देश दिए हैं कि वो अपनी गश्त बढ़ाएं।
कानून अपना काम करेगा और कोई पुलिस का हित नहीं है, जो भी कोई दोषी कल्प्रेट है उसको सजा मिलेगी।
That's all. That's what he had to say every time. You couldn't make one case from the other. You couldn't make out the difference. 10 rapes happened within a span of 10 days in January.
Why don't you email it to him?
10 rapes happened in a span of 10 days in
what else do you
January,
want him to
Vaibhav
say?
Agarwal. What is the Haryana government done? Let's discuss
You're a
facts.
journalist yourself. This is one of the fastest investigations I've seen in last 5 years.
Investigation into
Across
what?
the country.
Into what?
Into a matter like this.
What is the investigation? What is this key finding
The
that we all don't
government
know?
is trying to change the entire system.
Oh my God, there is a breaking news happening right now. This is the fastest investigation, and Vaibhav Agarwal right now is going to tell us what are the key findings of this fastest investigation that India has seen so far. Yes, Mr. Agarwal, tell our viewers right now. What have you found out?
What have I found out about what?
What is the fastest investigation? What are the findings?
People have been identified.
The victims have been identified.
People have been identified. The findings have been published in the public domain. And if you don't want to play that, if you don't want to play the press bite that was given to your channel or other media channels where pictures have been published, prize money has been announced on their head, I just don't understand. How soon? What else do you want to happen? What else is the procedure? You have an ex-DGP sitting. Why don't we ask him? What else is the procedure? What else can the police do?
Should we all stand up for an applause right now?
I just don't understand whether you want.
Efficient Haryana police that managed to give us pictures of the 3 people who were named by the rape survivor herself, named in the FIR when the FIR was filed, given in the statement, who are known to this girl. Their 3 pictures they managed to find in 3 days. Mr. Vora, is this fast and efficient investigation that the police managed to announce a 10 lakh or 1 lakh rupee reward for whoever helps them with these people? Is that called investigation?
See, let me first appeal to everyone, let us calm down. The main issue is a very sensitive one. I'm sure, see, let me tell you honestly, police is doing its best. This is the way how things go on. This is how investigations are done. Rewards are announced, pictures are released. And I'm sure police is under so much of pressure. They are also feeling bad, I'm sure. And I'm very hopeful soon we'll be able to catch the culprits. Now, going into other domains and what the Chief Minister said and all, of course, those are issues which are different. They're all political issues. But
No,
here,
sir, they're
as I
not
said at the
political
beginning,
issues. That's
can
exactly
divide
the
whole thing
problem
in
with our
two
country.
boxes.
No, they're not. No,
just a
sir.
minute.
Questioning
One
the
is-
Chief Minister, Mr. Vora, is not a political stunt. He is our Chief Minister. He promised us security for our betis. And if he fails to do that, every single citizen right now has the right to question him. And if it is political, so be it. Because women's security should be political issue number one in this country. Over 100 rapes happen every day in this country.
Ultimately, you're right. You're right. Ultimately, the buck stops at him. But I was talking of this case alone by itself.
Can anyone on the panel say what can you do to stop the rapes?
Policeman must be finished.
Mr. Vora, finish please. Yes.
Investigation, and I know it's being done fast. It's fast, and things take time. After all, there's no magic wand with the police that they'll be able to catch the culprits within 2 hours or 24 hours. But surely
it's a social responsibility
I know
that we need
they'll be
to
able
handle
catch them sooner than later.
Before
you know, Mr. Vora, I know you're a former DGP and you have your soft corner, Mr. Vora, for the police department. But here are the facts of the case, sir. Three of them managed to run away, despite the fact that the victim and her family knows these people, because the police didn't do anything for 3 days. For 3 days, they didn't even bother summoning these people, questioning them or looking for them. No. So if they don't file an FIR for 2 days, then it is absolutely the police's fault in this state of Haryana, because they did not take any action.
I already said.
Yes, so now they may not have a magic wand, but they let the suspects go in the first place.
I did say they should be.
They did have a magic wand.
I said they should be punished. I have said that already.
After the incident, investigation is
so breaking news here. The government has a magic
wand.
Tara Krishnaswamy on Tanvi Shukla's debate today will tell everyone in the country, in the world, that the government has a magic wand. Breaking news. We are learning how to do magic tricks on a television debate.
Are you done?
We can also teach. You can learn magic tricks, but if you don't know your governance, you're still going to fail in doing your job. Tara Krishnaswamy, please now, Tara.
Tara Krishnaswamy wants.
And I will appreciate it, Vaibhav Agarwal. And I will appreciate it if you do not personally attack my panelists here. You're free to leave otherwise,
hold your
but
horses.
you will maintain the dignity of this debate.
Hold your horses.
I'm not personally attacking it.
So let me do my job and let Tara Krishnaswamy speak now.
We are all in a debate.
Ms. Krishnaswamy.
Let's learn some magic tricks here.
Yeah. Yes. Vaibhav, calm down. Let me finish what I'm trying to say. I actually agree partially with Vaibhav, and I also completely disagree with him on another matter.
Coming to you next.
First of all, the police, did have a magic wand.
After
the magic wand they had was the fact
then
that
there is a different process.
Jayantita, coming to you next. Hang on for a minute, please. Let Tara finish her point. Yes.
But what have you done? What have you done to deter these kind of incidences?
What have you done in your social activism
previous
to deter
the previous day, one of the accused did come and
can you show me an account?
Agreed, you
as
don't
to
have
what
a magic
social
wand.
awareness have you done
But
to
you
deter
certainly
rapes?
can have some policies,
Please agree that it's a social evil and it takes
these
time
kind
to
of
change the
incidences.
mindsets. Don't try to preach. Be a part of the system and then try to bring about changes. If you talk about doing social activism, can you give me 5 things you've done to spread social awareness?
Can the other panelists get to speak, or will they go on speaking? Then we are not necessary at all.
I can't even hear you properly.
Can we just listen to Tara, please? Yes.
Yeah, thank you. I didn't interrupt any of you while you were speaking. I'd appreciate the same, Yeah. So the magic wand that the police had was that the day before the FIR was filed, one of the accused actually walked into the house and threatened them not to file the FIR, which means they knew that less than 24 hours ago, he was there, he was around. The minute they came to file the FIR and they mentioned this, the faster they file and the faster they move, the better the chances for them to catch this person. And once you catch one person, your chances of catching the others are more. Okay, so they did have a magic wand and they blew it. Okay, news for Vaibhav. They blew the magic wand they had. The fellow was around less than 24 hours before they came to file the FIR. That's number one. Number two, where I do agree with Vaibhav is that I think it's imperative for all the media channels to flash the flash, the pictures of the perpetrators, because enough of the pictures of the victim. We are not going to catch anybody by flashing the characteristics of the victim or the pictures of the victim or the mother or the father. The faces of the perpetrators must be plastered everywhere. They have no business roaming scot-free. So I think it's that part I agree with him. The other part again where I disagree with him is that who do you want us to hold responsible? Not the chief minister, but the home minister. And who is the home minister? News flash for you, Mr. Khattar is the home minister as well. And that is where the police reports. So if the police are lax and haven't done this and they blew the magic wand, some heads better roll. Who else is accountable for this?
Mr. Vaibhav Agarwal.
I think Taraji is ill-informed completely about how the system runs. She has no brushes with the system. And you know, I've always maintained this. We've been here on multiple debates. Tanvi, I have always said the police and the government can only go that far in getting systems in place. You know, you're dealing with mounds of legacy issues, of legal issues within the IPC, which does not allow you to go out of a certain framework. There are time frames allowed. For example, the police is not bound to register an FIR.
Then why are you running the government?
1 minute, Taraji. 1 minute, Taraji. 1 minute, Taraji.
No.
1 minute, Taraji. If you start attacking the government so blatantly, I would like to ask you, you're a social activist. What have you done to bring about social awareness for rapes? Do you have an answer?
No.
How many government departments have you worked with?
I'm sorry. Let me explain to you right now, Vaibhav Agarwal, how the democracy works.
I want to know about it.
Yes, Vaibhav Agarwal, since you are in the mood to preach, let me give you a bit of a sermon on how democracy works. People elect representatives to represent them. 1 minute, please. Can I just have Vaibhav Agarwal, and can he just listen to what I have to say to him?
I'm asking you to handle a rape victim.
Here is how democracy works, Vaibhav Agarwal. Can I just have 2 minutes, please? Thank you. People elect politicians, public representatives, to represent them, to bring about governance for health, for education, for law and order, to bring in policies that work for the country and for every single citizen. And when the elected representatives fail to do this, then the people who have put them in the first place have the right to question the government. Now, it may irk you because maybe you and your party are not very used to these days being questioned on governance, but we do over here.
Problem is that you
not because we are biased, but because that is our job. Because every single citizen of this country needs a platform to raise questions to their government. So now, Vaibhav Agarwal, the questions will be raised and will be asked of your party and your government, because you are in power in over 20 states in this country. For those 20 states and for the center, you and your party are responsible. So when you promise us Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, and you fail to do that, and every single day 100 girls are being raped in this country, we are going to ask you questions. So keep your sermons to yourself and answer us on facts. Now tell me, there were at least 15 cases of rapes that were reported from Haryana in just the month of January. Do you have facts tonight to tell me in how many of them convictions have happened? How many of them have reached fast-track trial courts? And how many have been put behind bars? Tell me tonight, Vaibhav Agarwal, how many fast-track trial courts has Mr. Khattar installed in his state since he came to power 4 years ago? How many of those police stations where he promised women cops have been done? What are the police reforms that you have done? If you have facts to tell us about how you're governing your state, tell us tonight. And keep your rhetorics to yourself.
I'm not interested in giving you any rhetorics when the debate is biased clearly. Clearly, you don't want to cover up.
I am biased towards the voters and the citizens.
And take responsibility. Of course. No, not at all. You're absolutely biased towards the government, and that is one of the reasons why
I have the right to question the government, and I will unabashedly question the government.
Where are the pictures? I'm not taking away your right by saying that you don't have the right to question. If you didn't have the right to question, and if I didn't want to answer,
why are you getting so upset? You may not be in the habit of being questioned. I am not one of those people who will simply agree with the government and whatever they are being told.
That is not right.
There is no political issue, and you're trying to make you're desperately attempting to make it a political issue. There is no political issue. As I'm saying in my opening remarks, that I said as well.
A political issue. Let's do that. Why don't we do that? Why don't we do that?
Justice to
do you have facts
to the victim
Do you have facts tonight to counter me?
I need the justice to be served to the victim.
Do you have facts tonight to counter me?
With a lot of I'm saying that with a lot of passion. Everything else will come after that.
In 2014, here are some facts for you. In 2014, there were 9,000 crimes against women in the state of Haryana. In 2015, there were 9,511 cases of crimes against women in Haryana. In 2016, there were 9,839 cases of crime against women in Haryana. Now, I will tell you this, by the admission of Chief Minister himself in the Assembly, the crime rate has gone up between 2014-15 and 2017-2018. Go and ask your Chief Minister. Those are the facts for you. Karuna Nandi, please. Karuna Nandi, and then we go across to some of our viewers.
They are registering the facts. Earlier, there was no registration of facts that used to happen, and that is why you can
Thank you so much. At least you started registering FIR, even if it is 3 days later. Karuna Nandi, please.
Absolutely. I'm very proud of doing that. And at least the data is getting reported.
Now,
the rights are being given to the voters.
I think there's a very important thing to recognize here, is that it's not about Mr. Agarwal, right? It is not about Mr. Agarwal. Mr. Agarwal is, a spokesperson for the party, I think, but he has no power. It is about the Prime Minister. It is about the Chief Minister. It is about the governance and the politics of this country, and the reason that I think, it's very, whenever during their governance, a particular party is speaking of crimes against its citizens, it says it's a human rights issue, especially when it's women. It becomes a human rights issue and not something that is political, not something that is a governance issue. And when it's another party, it becomes a political issue. Let us be clear that it is always a political issue. It is always a governance issue. Because why do we elect governments? We elect governments primarily to make sure that we are safe, primarily to make sure that we are free, right? Like if there was a dog-eat-dog, if there was a might is right world, we would not, that is a world in which you don't have government. So therefore, I think there should be no two ways about being clear that this is the responsibility, crime against women is the responsibility of governments in power. When Mr. Modi was elected, he came on the platform of बहुत हुआ नारी परवार अब की बार मोदी सरकार. It's about Mr. Modi. It is not about Mr. Agarwal. And I think that answers are required, and not answers. After 5 years, really, action is required. I mean, there are a few months left of this government. Perhaps they'll be elected in the future, but if they wish to be elected, let them. There is, one thing that I think in principle is that the opposition parties and the current government have in common, which is that they all say that they believe that there should be less crimes against women. And so let us see how they are performing at the state level.
No,
let us see how the various
it's barely even an election issue for them. It's definitely not a political issue, and I think it should be. I think women's security should be the most important political issue that anybody wants to talk about day in, day out. We should talk about it on every single prime time debate. We should talk about that.
The government,
but we won't, because it doesn't suit our narrative, and so the political parties rather sit and discuss other things, other tangential things, which have nothing to do with the voters' issues. And every time you bring about a voter issue, this is what happens.
No, absolutely. I'm asking you.
Let's speak to some voters on the phone line with me tonight. Gaurav calling in from Gurugram. Good evening, Gaurav. Go ahead,
85 are false. Why?
Hello.
Hi, Gaurav. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. I'm the citizen of this country, brother. So you cannot accuse me of having an agenda. Okay? And if you want to check my background, you can even do that. So my question to you is, when you said that today when Prime Minister...
No.
Vaibhav, yesterday you said the same line to Karuna, and today you are trying to do the same to me. So please, you don't try to patronize me, okay? Listen to me now, okay?
No, I'm not patronizing you, boss. Come to the point. Don't waste time.
Gaurav, just 1 minute, please, Gaurav.
Stop the yarn.
Mr. Agarwal, Vaibhav Agarwal, I'm going to request you the first and the last time to show courtesy to our viewers and to the voters of this country.
No.
They are your voters.
Enough courtesy.
You better listen to them, and if you can't, then you will keep quiet. Otherwise, I will have to forcefully put your audio down, because on our channel, the voter gets the first word and the last word. Now, Gaurav, go ahead, please. Sorry for that interruption.
Yeah, because it's all political about you.
I'm coming on to the question that today Vaibhav Agarwal said that Narendra Modi was discussing about Swachhta Abhiyan, so how could he bring about the points of rape? So, according to the same logic, yesterday when he was debating with Pedro D'Souza...
No, I didn't say that.
But you were implying that in a certain sense. Okay, and I'm not stupid enough.
No, I was
What's your question, Gaurav? You have a specific question?
Yeah.
Yes.
So my question is, how does it matter that Haryana gets fifth position as far as crime against women are concerned? That has nothing to do with what happened in Rewari, and there has to be a certain position that you must take instead of shouting, instead of interrupting the panel, and you should take a moral ground. You might seem it might seem to you that the anchor of the debate is trying to politicize, but it is actually you who are politicizing the issue.
Right. Gaurav, thank you so much for calling and sharing your views. Let's go across to Harish Kumar Naidu on the phone line from Mumbai. Good evening, Harish.
Hi, Tanvi. Good evening. I was listening to the debate yesterday, and also today I was listening to Vaibhav. Yesterday there was a spokesperson, I forgot that lady's name, but she said कि आप अपने बेटे को बताओ and बेटे को सिखाओ कि लड़की के साथ कैसे behave करना चाहिए and लड़की के साथ रहना चाहिए and how to treat her in a society. I would like to put across this to Mr. Vaibhav कि पहले आप अपने MLA and MPs को बताइए, because आपका एक MLA जो openly जो भी आपका गैदरिंग होता है उसमें बोलता है जो लड़की आपको पसंद है मेरे को बताओ, मैं उसको उठा लूंगा अपने घर से. आप अपने पहले विधायकों को बताओ, and as a taxpayer I am also responsible for whatever happening in this locality and close to my home or wherever in the country also. So I want to put it across that whatever is happening, your government is accountable for that. Take responsibility. Modi government has come into power by saying ki beti bachao, beti badhao. That is the reason you got 35 to more than 40% of women vote in this country. And after coming into power, Mr. Vaibhav, I'm sorry to say that, I myself feel, sorry that I have voted such a government. After coming into power, they are saying not politicize a rape.
Well, Harish, thank you for calling. I'm running out of time, but that was a good point that Harish raised there, and we spoke about this yesterday. Shaina NC was there with us, and she said that we're going to start a petition, and then we're going to ask everybody to start teaching your children, your boys, your sons, about how to go around respecting women and not to indulge in such crimes, and that we're going to ask every single neta join us in this campaign, and anybody who fails to do that should be thrown out. Now, I don't understand why this party believes that Manohar Lal Khattar is so indispensable for them. If he thinks the Swachhta event is more important than talking about the brutal rape that has happened in his own state, their family is out on the streets with candles demanding justice, and I think his priorities have seriously gone wrong. You, Mr. Khattar, and every other politician of your party, they all representatives of the people. You've been elected to govern us. So where is the rule of law? Who is supposed to enforce the rule of law? You are. If you're not able to do that, please resign and go. Let somebody else come who will hopefully have better capabilities to do this. Media outcry cannot be the reason for the police to wake up every single time and take some action. It happened in this case. It happens in every case that we pick up. I shudder to think about those who fail to come to the forefront and in the limelight. How many girls out there struggle to get the police to even file their FIR? What do they have to hear when they go to these police stations? What is the kind of reaction? How are they treated? The questions that are asked to them, the way they are made to run around. Because the mindset is to shield the man and the accused every single time. If this case, those men who refuse to file that FIR are not punished, then this chief minister must go. And we are going to follow up on this case. We will not stop even when the accused are found, even when this case goes to trial. Because we are not just demanding justice for the CBSE topper. Yes, we are, and we will want that. But we are also demanding action against those who betrayed her, who let her down in the first place. Thank you, viewers, for joining us this evening.